Welcome to Garage Sales Unhinged.
where the characters are as quirky as the finds.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Jake.
Join us as we dive into the wild world of garage sales, yard sales, estate sales, and anywhere secondhand sales are happening.
From bizarre bargains to hilarious haggles.
You won't believe the stories we've got lined up.
Let's get unhinged.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Garage Sales Unhinged. I'm Julie, and your co-host over there is Jake. Say hi, Jake.
Oh, hi there. How you doing?
I'm good. You brought in a little bit of a Midwestern accent to that one.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Uh,
No,
so,
Julie,
okay.
I gotta tell you, like, I can see you on the screen. Listeners can't unless they're mutants, but uh, you are not recording where you usually record. Usually, you're in your office, and it's decorated very intentionally and really cool and everything. That's not where you are right now.
No, this this is my office when things go bad. So I'm we're currently renovating our house, and my office is currently under renovation. So all the furniture's moved out, the rugs moved out, everything's off the walls. So if I were to sit in there, it gives me a very echoey sound. And so for kids that are listening and you want to start your own podcast, the best place to record, where I'm recording right now, is your closet. So I'm I'm actually in the space where whenever I worked in a corporate job and I would do voiceover projects, I'd come into my closet and record everything because this has the best acoustics in the house. So
You'd be surprised how many marketing videos are produced in front of somebody's, unpressed khakis.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
our brother, our oldest brother, one time he was doing a voiceover thing, and the only place he could get to that had semi decent acoustics was his car. So he would just like sit out in the parking lot and record into his
I remember
device.
him saying one time he went out there and he did that in the car and he had to drape a towel over his head.
Yeah,
Man,
that's not
making it
creepy at
work.
all.
Just making it
So
work. Well, but the renovation is everything okay? I think you've mentioned the renovation the last few times. Is it turning into the money pit?
no, it's not turned into that. It's just, materials take some time to get here, and summer break, and our contractor has kids and the kids are out of school and they're going on family vacations, and um so it's happening. It's fine. It's all
Okay.
fine.
Well, I'm enjoying looking at and judging all of the clothes hanging behind you.
Appreciate that. I really
No
do.
problem.
Um so you started off this show with doing a little bit of a Midwestern thing. I gotta tell a funny story. One of my friends, she so are you familiar with the actor Lou Diamond Phillips?
Oh yeah, Young Guns and La Bamba,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So Lou Diamond Phillips is actually from the DFW Metroplex. I think he is from Arlington. And anyway, my friend was out one night, and her and a group of friends, they were all kind of joking around and stuff. And she started doing a Midwestern accent of, "Oh, don't you know? Like, oh, it's just so great you're here. And oh, it's just so nice." And like all this stuff. Well, they had had a couple of drinks, and then Lou Diamond Phillips walked into the establishment, and like that he was meeting different people, and she like introduced herself, and she couldn't get out of this Midwestern character. She's like, I'm sure he's like, man, this girl is real Midwestern. But she was like, I was so nervous that I couldn't get out of, "Oh, honey, what are you doing here? This is great. So nice to see ya."
That's great. So I guess the rest of the night she couldn't drop it. He's like, he'll think I'm a liar.
Yeah, that was
That's
exactly
great.
it. Like, I can't lie to Lou Diamond Phillips. Yeah. So it was awesome.
I used to like think of like first day of work or first day of school in a given year, like try an accent because these people don't know you. But my second thought was, oh, but I'll probably see these people again. And I won't remember which accent I used on what person.
I went to a summer camp, and it was just for a week. and one of the guys there wanted to do a British accent, and so, like, whenever he met everyone that first day, he did a British accent, but, like, we could all tell he wasn't British, but he kept doing it, and I was like, "Cool." And
What?
he
How
was
did
such
you?
a nerdy, but, like, very nice nerdy guy, and, fantastic dancer, but horrible at accents.
Sorry, but like, how do you tell someone is not British?
There was just something about him that I'm like,
Well, it's okay. You can say his skin tone. You know that.
it wasn't
No,
that. It was I can't really pinpoint, but, like, he would be in conversation with, like, our group, and then go and tell somebody else something that didn't have the accent, and it came
yeah.
out, like, a lot easier, so, um, but yeah, he tried it, failed miserably, but it was still a fun week, and I danced with him, he was a good dancer.
I think I interviewed one job and I tried an accent and I got the job and I just dropped it after that because I was like, too late, you know. And I think I tried something that I thought was British and it's probably horrible and not even close. But I figured it might help, and I'm who knows? Maybe it did. I was drinking a literal cup of tea during the video interview, and it
Oh,
worked.
I really wanted you to have the interview of, like, the Swedish chef from the Muppets.
Yeah, yeah.
"And you got the job, amazing." Oh, that's funny.
How comfortable are you with a hand up your butt? Yeah, like that was the interview question.
Well, thinking of, like, all the EEO things that you can and can't ask in an interview,
I guess you
I
can't ask that. Maybe
I don't
it's
think a
because
hand
of
up the
woke.
butt well, I don't think a hand up the butt is something that you can't ask in an interview. As long as it's pertaining to the job,
Well, as a Muppet, that's kind of an important part of the job,
just a little bit.
or any middle management job, really.
Are you planning a garage sale, yard sale, or estate sale and need some help? Look no further than Garage Sale Supply. They provide top-notch resources and expert advice to help you host the perfect sale. From pricing tips to promotional strategies, they've got you covered. Visit GarageSaleSupply.com and make your next sale a success.
Well, Jake, are you curious about what we're talking about today?
Not really, but let's have it. I am really dying to know.
So, several weeks ago, I had to go to Portland, Maine for work and ended up renting a car after my meetings were over and drove over to New Hampshire to have lunch with one of my friends that lives in New Hampshire. But along the way, I stopped at some cool places, thrift stores, antique stores along the way between Portland, Maine, and um, this place in New Hampshire that I went to. And I was shooketh about, some of the things that they sell in New England because, like, honestly, like, okay, Jake and I are from Texas. We live in Texas, and we have old things here. I think the oldest thing that we have in the state of Texas is the Alamo because we must remember it. New England is a little bit older than Texas as it relates to United States history. And for people that would like a little bit of a history geography lesson, before Texas was Texas, we were Mexico. So anyone that came over to quote unquote Texas, they were immigrating into Mexico. And so while we still have a lot of really cool culture and things going on in Texas, I was shocked whenever I went to the antique store and saw that you could buy one of the it's like the 10 um portraits of someone from the Civil War era,
Okay.
and they were selling it for 20 bucks. Now, I don't know who the person was in the picture. I also know that this type of technology is not being used as much anymore, but I'm like, it's from the Civil War and it's only $20. So I was very like, is this legal? Can they do shouldn't this be in a
Yeah.
museum type thing? And I was
You had an
talking
Indiana
to
Jones moment. I hope you punched them and then jumped on a passing jeep.
I
'Cause
did. Oh my gosh, you saw it. Um So it was one of those things of looking through. Okay, so the place that I went to, I have my little pamphlet that they gave me of the Cornish area in Maine. And
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't realize there was a Cornish area in that part of the country or in any part of this country. And also the Cornish area sounds like the day in training I skipped as a proctologist. But go on.
you did skip it. Um, but this area of Maine has tons of antique stores and thrift stores and stuff like that. So um I didn't have tons of time before I had to get to my plane. But I stopped by, talked to the lady that was running the antique store that I went to. Her and her brother actually run the store. It's in the old guild hall of this town. So this building was built in, I think she said it was like early 1900s, like maybe 1908.
Yeah.
And it was meant as a community center. And so there's a lot of open floor space. There's a second floor. There's probably a basement, but I didn't go into a basement. That would have been really creepy. But the second floor, it's a big open room. There weren't like bedrooms and stuff up there. And then there is a third floor enclosed attic that they use for storage. But just walking around and seeing the amount of antiques in an antique store, that's not what I mean. It's how old they were compared to the antiques that I come across in
Yeah.
the southern states of like,
Right.
oh wow, this stuff is actually old.
Right. Right.
But I asked her, I said, so where do you curate all your stuff from? And she said, oh, her brother has an eye for those types of things. So a lot of estate sales in the area. Also people, whenever they realize, once they know that you run an antique store, they tend to call you and say, hey, I have this thing. Would you like to buy it for me? And then they resell it. So a lot of her brother's stuff that he has collected over time is in that antiques hall. And again, it's a very quaint town. So you think of small town America. And as I'm going down the road, like I did a Dukes of Hazzard, like Tokyo drift, trying to get into this dirt parking lot. I'm going, antiques, I gotta go look. But yeah, it was really cool to see some of the stuff that they have up there. And then I was telling her, I was like, I'm from Texas. We don't have this old of stuff. And she looked at me and she said, honey, everything up here is old. I said, okay, thank you. So, but it was really nice town, very cute place to go and visit. The Cornish area has tons of places, small town USA, to go and look for those types of things. So if anyone's ever like wanting to go on a antiquing adventure and make it like an actual vacation trip out of it, going up to Maine is ideal because the weather up there was fantastic.
Well, that's cool. I think it is kind of interesting. Like if you go to Europe, you see the history over there and you go, oh yeah, we haven't been at this very long over in the States. That's right.
So my husband and I, we did our honeymoon in Italy, and we had a tour of the Vatican, and our tour guide there was a archaeologist. I think he was an archaeologist. And he said he's been to America once, and he went to Philadelphia and got to see like the Liberty Bell and where like the first capital of the United States was and our seat of government. And he's like, okay, your old is our new. And we were
Yeah.
going around this piazza, and in the middle of it is this huge, beautiful building. And he's like, that's our new government building. It was built in 1842. And I was like, yeah, I get it. We still a young country over in America.
It does kind of bring up the question: would you rather have nothing but old stuff, or no old stuff?
I mean, I like a happy medium because like I don't want an old swimsuit. I don't want old underwear. Modern
You don't like
things.
the one piece thing? You don't like wearing the rubber hat thing that the
No,
ladies used to wear?
no. I really like AC. So like
Yeah. especially now, especially this time of year. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then there's also some things that I'm like, oh, I like the older
Hmm.
style of that, the good quality of it. And I look at older houses, I'm like, oh, those are beautiful. But then I start thinking about the maintenance upkeep. And then also I'm like, does it actually have central AC or do you have to get a window unit? And yeah,
Well,
things
that's
you
the
think about
thing. Like,
looking.
I'm in a 50s home and had to put in new windows, and that was a pretty penny,
Yeah.
But the house has been standing since then, and it's in fantastic shape. Whereas, like, it's been in fantastic shape since it was built. It didn't need any work. Houses built recently, maybe 20, 30 years, and those things have some serious issues because of the way they're built. So it's, yeah, there's a give and a take, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and another place I went up there in New England, it was a thrift store um, tied to like a senior community center. So the thrift store was actually a revenue generator for the senior center. So the money that they were raising there went to senior programs, senior meals for the people in the area that go to the senior center. And I did buy I bought a necklace there. It was costume jewelry that I really liked. It was really pretty, like I'm gonna say like jade green, like pearls almost type thing. Bought it for $3 and I felt like that was a steal and a bargain. Um, Also, it made me realize a lot of thrift stores are super clean and organized, and the clothing, the things that they have there are actually really high quality because while they do accept donations, they have to turn around and sell it
Right.
to, help out a 501(c)(3), whatever it may be. And the ladies that were working at this store, 1, super organized, 2, very clean, and 3, there was a lot of people working there that day. But yeah, it was really nice. I think I was there the Saturday before Father's Day. So they had a Father's Day sale going on, and the Father's Day sale was something like if you like in the men's rack, if you bought something there, it was like a 2 for 1. And so, like, essentially come in and buy the men's clothes so that they could replenish it with other stuff. But, um, yeah, it was cool. It was really nice to walk around to see a lot of their stuff. Honestly, the women's clothing up there was primo. It was super nice. And then Jacob, I travel a lot, and I like getting souvenir shirts of the places I've been to.
Okay.
Souvenir shirts, rip off. Rip off. Like, you're gonna go to a souvenir shop, you're gonna spend 15, $20 on a shirt that's not good quality. Everyone else has it, like, but hey, it's a souvenir shirt. You're not gonna wear it
Yeah,
to
it's the
the Met.
garments that you see along the tourist places,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What you're gonna get what you're gonna get.
Except when you go to a thrift store, local thrift store, because you know what they were selling?
No.
Awesome graphic tees of local events. So people
Okay.
donated like their 5K, their marathon shirts, their high school t-shirts. And I was going, you know what? That's a much cooler, like local t-shirt vibe than like going to your souvenir shop and getting something very, generic. But I was like, yeah, I want to show people I ran a marathon in this small town USA. I ran a
Right.
marathon, but the design was really cool, and also it was like the shirt was still in really good condition. So that's a tidbit for anyone that's traveling and you want to bring back a souvenir shirt or souvenir stuff. Go to the local thrift store because they
Mm.
tend to have things that are very unique to the neighborhood because local people donated.
That would be way cool, like, when you go to these places that are out of town, swing by and see if you can find a shirt from their minor baseball league team,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
their mascots are always zany and weird and very regional, you know?
Well, I,
Like,
I think like somebody had turned in, they had for sale like a high school wrestling team shirt.
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like, someone's gonna ask me like, "Oh, did you go to that high school?" I'm like, "No, but I bought a shirt near there."
You could pretend you did, and you could do it while faking an accent.
There
Yeah.
we go.
Like, yes, I went to the high school in the Northeast, and I was on the wrestling team, and I am a pirate,
But yeah, just stopped around at a couple places, talked to several people there. Like I said, most thrift stores are doing it to support a 501(c)(3 nonprofit organization, goes back to the community. And again, really good stuff. There's a difference between a thrift store and a consignment store. Do you know what that is, Jake?
So consignment is I give you my stuff, you sell it and keep some of the money,
Right.
whereas thrift store, I mean, I don't think I can try to sell you something.
So thrift stores usually someone has donated stuff to
Right.
group.
Okay.
The consignment store is I take in a bunch of clothes and um you know this the shop either buys it from me and then they resell it for a markup, or it stays on their rack and then once it sells I get a portion of those proceeds. Um,
Mhm.
but thrift stores they do take donations. They also go and pick up stuff at estate sales and things like that. So people tend to curate items in those situations. Um, but I've come to find out that I really like shopping at thrift stores and consignment stores. And I love going to them, especially if I'm in a different state of going like, oh, what is this local community? What
Right.
did they get rid of or what do they wear or all that stuff. So
It's a different way of getting exposed to the local flavor.
yeah,
It's not just with food. It's like, hey, what's the regional thing
yeah.
going on as far as stuff?
And the antiques store I went into in this old guild hall, um, and this whole building is probably, I'm gonna say it's probably 3,800 square feet. Like it's a pretty big building to have all these antiques in there. In one corner on the first floor, one corner in the back, which probably would have been like maybe the original bathroom or something like that, mud room. They had a bunch of old farm equipment, like garden equipment,
Mhm.
like things that, you know, one, don't poke yourself because you're going to need a tetanus shot. Two, don't stab your brother with it because they're going to die. And I'm going, wow, they're selling weapons here. This is awesome.
But it's generally good advice not to stab your brother, Julie.
I mean, advice. You don't have to take it. Um, you and I've talked about going to some of these stores and taking like the lead light so you can see like what glass is made of lead and all that stuff. Man, if I had a lead light to take
Oh, for
into
sure.
that
Yeah.
antique store, they had a lot of old bottles, a lot of old dolls. They had a whole collection of salt and pepper shakers, like antique ones. And I know people collect those, but like I tried to find you some frog ones. They didn't have any frog ones, but
Darn.
I know you were so looking forward to
Next
that.
time.
But yeah, it was a cool experience, and, I encourage everyone as people are going on summer vacations and stuff, go to your local thrift store, stop into an antique store, marvel at what they got. It's cool.
I'm trying to figure out like what do you think is our regional, you know, thrift store sign? Like what is our local flavor?
Live, laugh, love.
Oh God. Yeah, probably. Oh no.
Just the
You're
sign that
right.
blessed or eat.
Yeah. It is a bunch of affirmation signs, which
Yeah.
is great to find in secondhand because that means somebody's like, nope, not true. Taking this back. You can have it first. My sign now says cursed. I was gonna say something else, but yeah.
Yeah, well, and I was talking with some friends, today about this of, if you go to an antique store in a large city like the DFW Metroplex, one, their prices are higher, and part of that's because their rent is higher. Um, but also people will pay for that, right? If you go to a thrift store outside of a busy metro area, you can get some really good, interesting deals because they don't have the foot traffic like our Metroplex people do. So being able to go into some of those thrift stores and uh and haggle with those shopkeepers, like you can do that easier outside of a big city.
Yeah, and you're gonna get stuff that more likely came from a place that is older, you know? If
Yeah,
it's metro, people are coming and going all the time, but go a county over,
yeah.
Go
Well,
on
'cause
a zip code this way or that way, and you'll be surprised.
well, I do have a feeling, like, I think a lot of times people will take, especially furniture from IKEA, and, like, that's probably what you're finding at the thrift stores around here, something that has been made in bulk, and then people wanna change their decor or
Sure.
whatever it may be, and then
Nothing wrong with that. I mean,
no.
that counts too. And man, don't knock IKEA. It's been pretty good lately, but uh,
Well, no, but that's the thing of, like, for people that may be wanting to look for antiques, yes, there are
oh,
antiques store here in the Metroplex for sure, but also a lot of those, store owners, they travel outside of state to get the deals to bring to their store here and make a chunk of change on it.
well, I guess what you're saying is, hey, if you happen to be traveling, might as well make it a point to stop by someplace, especially in an area you've never been, and make bring a bag just for the purposes of the stuff you might find there.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Yeah. What are you waiting for? Go.
Go on vacation. Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I wanted to bring this week, and it was fun trying to find treasures in someone else's backyard, and makes me want to go do more of it.
Well, thanks for bringing it to us. Like you are a jet setter, so the more of the stuff you do, you need to like document it. And I want to see the collection of bizarre regional high school sports team shirts that you collect.
Actually, you know what you can get at a lot of antique stores, which I can't do it because I'm a minimalist and I can't just have all this stuff in my house. But you can usually find someone's old yearbook, like high school,
Mhm.
and like to look at those from the 20s and the 30s of going, oh, that wouldn't pass anymore in this day and age.
No, well, you'd
Uh,
like to think, yeah.
yeah, I'd hope so. But yeah, it's always interesting to look at what people got. So that's what I got for this week, Jake.
Cool. See you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye. 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 Bye.